Time now for some live Cowboys Q&A. You guys know the drill. Use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. We'll start off with Patrick Mitchell, who wants to know about drafting AJ Terrell in the second round. I like that idea. In particular, that's the right word. Yeah. Like that idea. If the Cowboys choose to address a different spot other than corner in round 1, then maybe you spend a round 2 and even a round 3 and 4 pick or 4 pick on the cornerback spot. So I think round 2 is the right range for Terrell. The LSU game can scare people off. That's understandable. But I think that'd be a good pickup by the Cowboys just outside the top 50. Another super chat from Jason McKinney. I got this one before the show. We got you covered, Jason. Thank you very much. He says gambles on Brown and McCoy and Poe and Gregory, Bryan, etc. are to mitigate late contracts like Dak Prescott, poorly timed contracts like Elliott, or underperforming contracts like Lawrence. I'd argue maybe Jalen Smith fits better in the underperforming category. But I think at the core here, you're right. Now, you're always going to try and have the balancing act there. You're never going to have a roster consisting solely of good contracts. That's just not how it works. You don't find those guys. Even the Patriots end up giving out bad contracts. So you want to have some low-risk, high-reward players mixed in there. So from that perspective, Jason, I think you're right. I just would like to see the Cowboys do a little better overall when it comes to the contract side of it. But I think you're right that the Cowboys are taking some high upside swings in order to kind of balance out some other iffy contracts. But they would make those swings regardless. Next up from Dr. Lubo, Super Chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Do you think we get CeeDee, Ruggs, or Jeudy? I don't think that's going to happen. Number one, I don't think those guys are going to be there at number 17 overall. Number two, even if they are, I'm not convinced that the Cowboys would take them. I would, but I don't think the Cowboys want to go with a wide receiver at number 17 overall. I think they're looking at a Kayvon Chasen or a CJ Henderson, or failing that, maybe trying to trade down from number 17. So with that in mind, who should the Cowboys take at number 17 overall? All right, more super chats are flowing in. Next up from Kevin Balderas, if I mispronounced your last name, I'm sorry. Top 3 players that the Cowboys would trade up for realistically. I will preface this, Kevin, by saying stay tuned. I have some trade-up targets coming up for you guys here in, 10 minutes or so on the Cowboys Report, or if you're watching on demand later on in the week. The 2 names that I'll mention one name just to start. I don't want to give it all away. I think the number 1 trade-up candidate should be Jeffrey Okudah. Top-end player, fills a massive need. I just don't think that's going to be all that likely. Another super chat coming in. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate that. Says trade Tyron and a second rounder for Denzel Ward. I am open to having discussions on a trade of Tyron Smith because of the injuries, because of the fact that he's getting a little bit older. But I always come back to this, and this is my main issue with doing this. You've lost Travis Frederick at center, so you might have to play Connor McGovern there or Joe Looney at left guard. If you trade away Tyron in a second, yes, you take care of your cornerback need. You are set there. But now you've created an entirely different need. That's at left tackle. Who are you playing? The top 5 offensive tackles might be off the board at 17 overall. Now you don't have the assets to go up and get somebody else. You could move Connor Williams there, but then who's your left guard? And do you trust a line of Connor Williams, Connor McGovern, and Joe Looney? I don't. So I think it's worth discussing, but I don't think trading Tyron, at least right now, makes the most sense for the Cowboys because I need a good left tackle. Tyron is still really good. So I think it's a worthwhile discussion to have. I just don't think it helps you out in the end. Yeah, it takes care of corner, but now you open up a giant can of worms on your offensive line. Now we're talking a lot about the NFL draft, and unlike most years, the Cowboys NFL draft hat is actually good. They have been, quite frankly, terrible in the past. They've tried to do way too much. They went with a more simplistic approach this year, and they look awesome. So you can get yours today, all types of styles and fits. They've got the flat bill. They've got the more rounded, typical baseball cap. They've got adjustable and fitted at chatsports.com/Cowboys draft hat. That is chatsports.com/Cowboys Draft Hat. And do not worry, that is in the comments and it is in the description as well. Go check that out. It's chatsports.com/Cowboys Draft Hat. I feel great that for once these draft hats are actually good. They've been so bad for so long. It's a nice change of pace. Super chat coming in from my main man, Bijan Mansouri. CeeDee Lamb. If he's there at 17, guys, I think a lot of us agree. I am all over that. I love that idea. I'm not that convinced that, A, he's going to be there. I don't think that he is. I think those guys are all gone in the top 15. And I'm not that convinced that the Cowboys would even do it. I would. I'd score all of the points and worry about defense for the rest of the draft. I would love to have a core of CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. Like that, that's just awesome. But I don't know if the Cowboys quite feel the same way in the end. So we'll have to see on CeeDee Lamb. Frankly, I wouldn't really get your guys' hopes up. Mickey Pangy says Dak going to be trash after he gets his money. I don't know why we would feel that way. Like of all the players who are suddenly just not going to be good anymore because they're going to tap out once they get paid, would we really think it's Dak? He doesn't have an effort issue, so I don't really get that question at all. Now, producer Alicia has gone rogue on this one, and this one will certainly upset various members in the comment section. The better Cowboys quarterback. Type T for Tony Romo or type D for Dak Prescott. If my wife wasn't at the store right now, I'd have her go grab my Tony Romo jersey and I'd bring it up on the show. Because if we're talking about primes, the answer is T for Tony. You guys know that I would, I guess, count myself as a Dak Prescott supporter. But if we're talking about primes where they were at in their peak, it's Tony Romo. The issue for Tony at the end was that his body failed him. I would love to see a healthy Tony Romo back in his prime again. That quarterback was awesome. And, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm hating on Dak, we also haven't seen Dak Prescott at his prime. Remember, Dak is younger than when Romo got to start. So the years are very different there. So I'm typing in my T for Tony, but I'm very curious what you guys think in the comments section. I see a lot of T's coming in right now. All right, from the ordinary guy, legit question. What would truly take our team to the next level this year or maybe next year? A specific player, the coaching staff, how do we become the next Patriots? Great question. I think when you look back at the dynasties across the NFL, there's normally a common thread. Either you had some combination of a historically great quarterback, which is very tough to find, that's why they're historically great, or you had some type of great, brilliant coaching, scout-identifying mind. Belichick, Jimmy Johnson. The Niners had some great quarterback play and some great coaching. So I think it would probably start with getting lucky and ending up with a great coaching staff. But in terms of becoming the next Patriots, that's not a realistic goal for me. I don't expect that from the Cowboys. What I expect is to get back to the playoffs next year, and then once you have some added draft picks and more impact in free agency even next year too, I think you end up taking a step forward at that point. So I think in terms of Super Bowl window, yeah, you're still kind of in it. I don't know if this team is one player away. That's why I don't love trading up in the draft in general. All right, Stephen Jolly, in round 2, do you think Winfield will be on the board? It's a really good question. Antoine Winfield's draft range is a bit of an unknown for me. I am a big fan of the player. I think you guys know that. But I don't know how the NFL feels about him. I love the talent, but he's undersized with a history of medical issues. And in this year's draft, I think even more so than many years, you will see players with medical question marks slide significantly because NFL teams weren't able to get those guys in to meet with their doctors. For some teams, that's going to pull them off the board. So I think there is a chance that Winfield is there. And if he is, man, do I want him in round 2 so bad. Now, speaking of the NFL draft, as the Super Chats continue to come in, thank you guys so much. How many rounds of the NFL draft will you watch? My hope here is that the answer is 7. My hope that it's 7. Because what else is there to do? And we're going to try and work on some fun stuff for you guys to help to watch the NFL Draft with us here at Chat Sports. I think you guys will enjoy it. And even if you can't watch it live, we're going to talk about all of the picks, the undrafted free agents the Cowboys make. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe, as I see a lot of 7s coming in, and I like that one. Alakia Trimble, can you please make a video of what the Cowboys draft board actually looks like with the values assigned and all? What I think we can do, my friend, is I think we'll try and come back with a Cowboys round 1 type of draft target video. I'm not going to know exactly what the board looks like. I think I'll have a good feel, but I can't promise you that I'll give you the actual draft board. I remember one year it leaked, which was hilarious. But I think what we'll have for you guys before the draft begins is we'll have a better feel for in a video of who the Cowboys could take and what their board might look like. From Mr. Right, Antoine Myers, Zach plays next to Collins and Frederick. Tyrone gets a bad rap, but he has to do the most playing next to musical chair players. So I believe talking about Tyron Smith here, meaning Zach Martin plays to Collins and Frederick. I don't think Smith gets a bad rap. I think there are times where, look, the Cowboys leave Tyron Smith on an island a lot. They don't give him very much tight end help. That speaks to how much they trust him. But you're right, especially the past couple years, in part due to injuries, the Cowboys have really shuffled the offensive lineman at left guard. Between Ron Leary, they played Xavier Su'a-Filo, Connor Williams. They gave Joe Looney a start last year because of injuries. So I think you're right, Mr. Right. Smith gets a bad rap. The injuries are fair, but he's still a really good left tackle. Ooh, a good one from Elijah Williams. And everyone in the comments, feel free to answer this as well. If you could bring back any Cowboys legend, who would it be? My answer to this question is always Deion Sanders, because Deion was my favorite. I loved Deion growing up. That was my all-time favorite player back when I was a very young kid. And it helps with it. He takes care of your number 1 cornerback need. But I think you could also make a strong argument for maybe you bring back like a prime DeMarcus Ware to pair him across from DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, that's fun. Someone says Jimmy Johnson. That's a good idea. I see Larry Allen in there as well. Also good picks, but I see some quarterbacks. I got no issue with that. Keep those coming in the comments section. Corey Parrish, the Patriots became the next Cowboys. Just saying we were America's team for a reason. For the record, the Cowboys are still America's team because America's team is the most loved NFL team and the most hated. That is still the Cowboys, and I feel very confident about that one. But you're right, the Patriots did become the next Cowboys, and let's be honest, they got lucky. They lucked into Tom Brady, and they got a head coach who sucked with the Browns, so it was great with them. But no, I think that's fair, Corey. The Patriots did become the next Cowboys. Now we're trying to see who becomes the next Patriots. But if that's your expectation, I'd say lower it a little bit. I'll just take 1 Super Bowl right now, and then we'll worry about the rest after that. All right, SB Franklin. Trade Dak for cornerback or picks, save money, invest in defense, sign Cam, and draft Hurts. In terms of the let's replace Dak Prescott ideas, this one is actually probably one of the better ones that I've seen. The issue with trading Dak is that you can't do it right now. Dak's not stupid. Dak wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He cannot be traded until he signs his franchise tag. Guess what Dak's not going to do right now? Now, in terms of replacing him, I do think that, you could bring in Cam Newton, draft Jalen Hurts. That might actually end up being a pretty decent path for you, although I am terrified about the injury side of Cam Newton. Talent-wise, Cam Newton is better than Dak Prescott, at least he was back in his prime. The issue is I don't know if you're going to get prime Cam Newton. That's a significant red flag for me. So it's dangerous. It is certainly riskier, and you might not want to take on that risk. But of the ideas, I do think it makes a little bit of sense for the Cowboys. Hey, Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.